Vancouver condos have already hit record high prices again, even with 20-year highs in interest rates still nagging at the marketplace and threatening a new downturn within the Fraser Valley. But the Lower Mainland of BC is a tale of two markets. The Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, which tracks the numbers between Bowen Island in the west, South Delta to the south, and even as far as Maple Ridge in the east. And the other market is where I live, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board. And that tracks North Delta, Surrey, White Rock, Langley, Abbotsford, and Mission. And what most people looking into real estate don't understand is that these two markets within one market act very differently. Like, for example, in the Pandyw in West Vancouver, one of the richest areas on the entire continent, stayed almost flat. Mission, one of our more affordable markets, rose and then also fell as much as 30% in the same time period. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you the differences between these two markets and discuss how Vancouver condos can be hitting record high pricing, while the Valley appears to be headed for declines in value. But before I can do that, since the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board has just released their most recent statistics package, that makes this the Surrey report. So here is my amazing team with the latest home pricing for my hometown, the city of Surrey.
Looking at our detached market for the month of April, we saw a total of 224 sales. That is down 12.2% from the 255 sales in the same period last year. Our benchmark price is $1,665,400. That is up 1.1% month over month and up 4.8% year over year.
We had 213 townhouse sales in April of 2024, which is 1.4% lower than 2023. Our benchmark price is $893,100, and that is 0.8% increase month over month and a 4.3% increase year over year.
In the condo market, we saw 261 sales in the month of April, which is an increase of 15% from 2023, where we saw 227 sales in the same time period. The benchmark pricing is $560,500, which is up 2.2% month over month and 4.5% year over year.
Now, just before I hop into the numbers, if you would like to stay up to date on the real estate market, please subscribe to the channel and make sure you click the like button, because the world really needs more likes right now. And remember that if you need help in Surrey or the Fraser Valley, you can book a call with me right now using the link in the description below at a time that works best for you. Now let's hop into the stats and start off by taking a look at the HPI, or the Home Price Index, for all asset classes in both the Fraser Valley and Greater Vancouver board areas. So this is what the HPI looks like across both board areas. Red, being Vancouver, is obviously higher. It's a higher priced area. But then blue, being the Fraser Valley board area, probably what most people would consider to be the suburbs, and some people even consider it to be all the way out in the sticks. Now, this is all the way back to 2005, so you can see the difference. Now, you will notice that the trends are very close to each other. But for instance, look at what happened in the pandemic when these prices became so close to each other at certain periods of time before the actual Fraser Valley board area had a much greater fall off than the Vancouver board did. But this chart, condos, is what really caught my eye. And let me zoom in a little bit for you. You can see that condos topped out in Vancouver at $776,000 at the peak in May of 2022. Yeah, I said May. Most people think the markets, and most markets did peak out in March or April. Vancouver actually stayed a little bit resilient and peaked out at that time. But look at this. We're already back to those same numbers. In March, 777, with a $1,000 decline just this last April. So for the past 2 months, Vancouver itself, or the Vancouver board area, has actually been over and above peak pricing in condos. But the Fraser Valley board area, again, peaked out April 2022 at $558, and they have still yet to recover, although condos have done quite well. They've come back as high as 561. Now let's take a peek at the overall detached market for both of these areas. You can see that neither of the detached markets have rebounded back to peak levels. Now, again, this is the full board area, however, so I'm going to show you something here very interesting towards that in a moment in relation to Vancouver itself, because people don't understand what really happened in Vancouver real estate and when the peak was. So I'm going to bring that up in just a sec, but you will see that we have almost a recovery. So the peak was indeed April of 2022 for Vancouver at $2.1 million. This is all of the Greater Vancouver board, 2.1, and now we're at, well, about $60,000 less than that. But the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board topped out at $1.7 million, and we've only recovered to about 1.5. Now, it did drop all the way down to 1.35. So the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board as a whole did see about a 25 or 30% decrease in overall pricing in detached homes. But I don't want to miss out on adding in Vancouver, because Vancouver, the city, this is where people don't realize what really happened. Vancouver detached real estate actually peaked in 2016. The detached home price got as high as $2.668 million for the average home within the city of Vancouver itself. And now we are just a hair below that at 2.644. So we're still not back to the peak, but we are over the peak of 2022, which happened in March of 2022 for detached within the city of Vancouver. We got almost back there again last year, and we're almost back there again this year, but nothing has surpassed yet. I mean, it's only $20,000, and on $2.6 million, it's not really that big of a deal overall. However, it's a lot of money, and the peak of the market for the actual city of Vancouver is still almost a decade ago. Now let's go back to all property types so we can look at this a little bit more in depth. And I'm going to swing in within just the last 5 years so we can see the crazy COVID run up that we had, and then kind of the flattening out that we've had since then. HPI, as we mentioned, basically topped out in the spring of 2022. The overall HPI, so all areas, all asset classes, has not yet rebounded as heavily for the Fraser Valley as it has done for obviously the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board. Median price, a lot more jumpy. It's crazy to me that at one point, this is how you could see that something was going to go wrong, or you would see some sort of massive price decreases, which we did see in 2022 in the Fraser Valley Board area. There was no reason at that time that the Fraser Valley Board should have increased past the Vancouver Board area. Average sale price, again, they should never have come this close. There was always a nice steady gap in between these two areas, and the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board just really jumped up way too high at one point in time. But the Fraser Valley Board right now is actually showing signs of a lot of inventory and not much happening. When we look at the actual number of sales, I'm going to scroll right in so you can see really what's happening right now. You'll notice that the Fraser Valley Board has come off of those nice, really high number of sales that we had. So has the Vancouver Board. However, look at Vancouver Board is still on an upward trajectory after this last month's stats. So the market is going into a regular spring market. It's the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board area that's really seeming to be slogging it out here and not returning the numbers that we would expect to see. And that's just how busy the market is. This isn't talking about price. This is talking about how many transactions are happening. And there's not a lot of them happening. And the reason why that is, well, one would say is because of all those new listings. Now, new listings themselves aren't necessarily a bad thing when you're talking about prices going up, because as you can see, the Vancouver Board's getting a lot of new listings, but the Vancouver Board also is getting a lot of new sales. The Fraser Valley Board is not getting that same amount of sales. And when you have those new listings, the next thing that happens is active listings start stacking up. And that's exactly what we're seeing on the Fraser Valley Board, but it's really nothing compared. Let's go back out here to my maximum. When we look at historical norms, it was not crazy. Like, look at this, 2008. The Fraser Valley Real Estate Board had 9,000 active listings on the market in certain months, and we're just now up to about 5,500 active listings on the marketplace. So relatively speaking, there's not as much inventory as there has been in past years, But compared to what we've just come out of with all the pandemic spending and the ultra low interest rates, there's a lot of people that are starting to adjust to this new normal of real estate. One interesting part about the marketplace is what we call months of inventory. It can also be looked at as a sales to active ratio. So you can see here when December of 2021, when the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board area actually had an enormous amount, over 100% of the listings got consumed. So what that means is not only did all of this month's listings sell, previous month's listings that were sitting on the market, they also sold. So when that happened, that's when you saw that massive price growth because there just was nothing on the marketplace. But look at these two markets as they start to kind of split off and the Fraser Valley is cooling down and Vancouver is actually heating up. They're not very different in the amount of consumption rate that's happening at the moment. So right now we're about 1 in every 4 listings on the marketplace is selling, and that is still almost a seller's market. It's a bit of a balanced market, but it's almost a seller's market. Another kind of crazy stat is, well, believe it or not, days on market is actually starting to now go down again. So houses are selling quicker. However, they're not selling as quick as they were back when it was a week or 2 weeks on the market. We're now 3 to 4 weeks on the market in also both marketplaces. But focusing again back on sales, what I'm seeing is a tale of two completely different markets. The Fraser Valley Real Estate Board market is sliding off of the number of sales that it probably should have for this time of year. The Vancouver market is seemingly doing just fine. The only reasoning that I can possibly put in place for why this might be is as we get out into the valley, not only are we more leveraged, but more investors bought cheaper properties. And now with carrying costs being so crazy high for a very long period of time, there's a really good chance that a lot of those investors are starting to get rid of those properties because they don't want to actually cash flow negative as these new capital gains taxes come in, at the same time compounding on their new interest rates when they do their 5-year fixed renewals. So let me know what you think of the Vancouver market, not doing so bad, and the Fraser Valley market kind of showing a little bit of weakness out there right now. And if you need help in either of these markets, please know that you can book a call with me right now using the link in the description below. Thank you so much for subscribing, clicking the like buttons. Go Canucks go, and we'll see you in a couple of days.